I am going to be ranking every single side mission in the Batman Arkham series. The side missions in the Arkham series houses some of the most memorable and most enjoyable moments in the games to me. They all, at the very least, have some sort of enjoyment due to the series' gameplay. But which ones are the worst? Which ones are the best? Rather than make a tier list, I'm going to be ordering them number-wise from worst to best. People have ranked these in a lot of videos already, but I wanted to make one for myself because I have my own opinions. Because what makes a side mission enjoyable for me is not just the gameplay, but also the story, variety, the small details. The culmination of all those things make it different for me. So let's go ahead and rank every single side mission in the Arkham series. Subscribe please, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and let's just move on. Okay, just a disclaimer. I am not ranking collectibles other than the Riddler collectibles because collectibles I don't count as side missions. They're just collectibles, but the Riddler ones progress his side mission that actually has gameplay / story content there. But I won't be ranking the Riddler in Arkham Asylum because that one is just collectibles without any real side missions, if that makes sense. And I'll also rank the Anarchy riots in Cold Cold Heart, the frozen victims from Cold Cold Heart, and the audio tape mission Arkham Knight's Matter of Family, simply because all of those have endings and gameplay and rewards to an extent. Okay, let's move on, starting from the worst and moving on up. Okay, so starting at number 42, the worst. It's Arkham City's Iceberg Lounge Remote Hideaway. It's legit just a mission where you go to the cops at the museum to collect a Mind Disruptor upgrade. That's it. I mean, you do fight these guys outside the place, I guess, but yeah, that's all there is to it, a bare bones fetch quest. Still, it counts as a side mission, but there's nothing really to do here. That's why it's at the bottom. No real enjoyment here. Number 41, Arkham City's AR training. People might have this one higher. For me, I never complete this mission when replaying through the game. You just glide through circles, and while it does get more difficult throughout the mission, I mean, there's no story or anything here, but you get to do something more than the worst side mission, so for that, it's just 41. However, its biggest takeaway is getting the grapple boost upgrade, which I think is extremely nice in Arkham City. So I will find myself doing the first set of challenges here in the mission every time, but still not really all that fun. Number 40, Arkham Origins Cold Cold Heart Victims. I put this as a side mission, I suppose, because you do get a reward at the end of it. It's just some random useless upgrade, but anyways, this one's not all that great either. You just go around and you have the new suit and break people out of ice. Not much of a story to it other than just they're all victims of Mr. Freeze you need to save. So yeah, that's all there is to it. It's a really whatever mission, which is why it's at 40. Number 39, Arkham City Nora Freeze Heart of Ice. This one is a little bit more enjoyable than the others. You find where Nora is, which isn't the hardest thing ever, but you do fight some guys and save her for Mr. Freeze. But there's no real cutscene when you tell Mr. Freeze. It's kind of whatever, especially since Mr. Freeze fights you in the game because he wants you to save her. Pretty forgettable mission, but it's kind of fun with a bit of discovery to the place as well as the combat section, so I guess that's why it's at number 39. Number 38, Arkham City Stolen Freeze Tech Hot and Cold. This one is another fetch quest, but it had a little bit more layers to it, I suppose. Going down this elevator shaft to get to the room was cool, and the dialogue thug conversations of the enemies you fight is honestly a highlight of this already mess side mission, which makes it a little bit more memorable. You had to jump through a bit more hoops to get this gadget, so it makes the experience a little bit more fun, but not by much, which is why it's near at the bottom. Number 37, Arkham Origins Cold Cold Heart Anarchy Riots. A lot of you probably don't know about this or don't count it. It's just a bunch of anarchy riots. It's in the name. You stop them and it gets you an upgrade in this DLC. It's nothing special. It's pretty mid, which is why it's pretty low. But I do like how you have multiple of these riots to complete, I guess, which is why it's higher since the combat in the game is really fun. So that's a plus. Number 36, Arkham City Bane Fragile Alliance. We're starting to get to some of the actual story-based real side missions. Fragile Alliance is one of the most boring though. As a side mission, it's just you destroying canisters around Arkham City for Bane, and when you get back there, you fight some thugs with Bane, and then Bane tries to attack you, in which you easily stop him in some cutscene. It's a whatever side mission. It's cool because you can progress it while you do the main story since most of the canisters are along the way, but there's nothing really interesting that happens here, and Bane's interpretation in Arkham City also ruins this whole thing for me. This mission solidifies how dumb he is, but still, getting the fight with Bane was pretty cool. It's not all bad. Number 5, Arkham City Arkham Assault Acts of Violence. This side mission just had you saving political prisoners like a bunch of times around Arkham City, but I put this one higher than the others because this side mission I vividly remember as a kid being the one where I felt like Batman saving someone from a situation. The simple thought of someone being attacked in a dark alley in Gotham and Batman swooping down to save him and leaving as if he was never there, I really like that element of this side mission. I think that adds to the enjoyment for me because I do really invest myself into these characters when playing these kinds of games. And this one does that for me, and for that, I rank it a bit higher than the rest. It's cool. Number 34, Arkham Origins Penguin Caches. This side mission is cool. You go around, beat up some thugs, and use your disruptor to jam the penguin caches. It's simple, but I like the story element of this being the first mission Barbara really helps you on. And with this game having a theme of allies helping out Batman, it's cool for that as well. As for gameplay aspects, it's cool to just fight more guys, corrupt cops and penguin thugs, and stop the caches. It's a simple mission, nothing too bad, but I like it for what it is, especially the development between Batman and Barbara. Number 33, Arkham Knight Lamb to the Slaughter, the Deacon Blackfire mission. This one was really cool in that you get to fight a crap ton of guys in an arena. Arkham Knight's combat is so refined and so damn fun that doing this is always a treat. Like, I actually look forward to doing the side mission in my playthroughs, but that's legit all you do. You just fight these guys and you beat the side mission basically. The side mission had some build up via audio tape from Jack Ryder you can listen to, which gives an honestly ominous and interesting story, but is let down by how shallow the side mission actually is, which sucks. It could have been so much more. I wish it was so much more. But for what it is fun, which is why it's at number 33. Number 32, Arkham Knight Matter of Family audio tapes. Now this one might be like, why is this one here? To me, it counts as a side mission because there is an end secret to it. So you go around the park and do like mini games in order to learn more about the park, basically about how Joker and Harley tricked the owner and his daughter, which resulted in the owner's daughter's death. Doing this, you unlock the owner's office at the end and find the last audio tape in which Joker gives him pills to unalive himself with. What I really love about the side mission is how it's one of the darkest little storylines in the series, and the voice acting from the final audio tape where the guy is dying is really well done and memorable.
It was supposed to be painless.
The feeling I got from the side mission, as well as the light enjoyment from the minigames and the memorable storyline, it really gave me that ominous dark feeling from the Arkham games that you don't get as super often as I would like. I really like this one, which is why it's at number 32. Number 31, Arkham Origins Bird. This side mission had you tracking down Venom and Bane's right-hand man, Bird. This one was pretty cool, all things considered. It had a decent amount of combat sections, some detective work, a bit of a story, and like a mini boss fight with Bird at the end. It was a pretty extensive side mission in that regard. Not the best, but also not the worst, and it was cool seeing more of Bane's gang here and how much they really respected him. It's not much else to say here, honestly. It was a pretty hefty side mission, all things considered, with a good amount of variety. I liked it, which is why it's at number 31. Number 30, Arkham Knight Friend in Need, the Thomas Hush side mission. Now look, as far as Arkham Knight side missions go, it's one of the worst. However, there are some things that I do like about it. First off, it's the only side mission in the game where we see more of Lucius Fox, which I think is cool. I like some of the symbolism present in the mission as well, like this chessboard here with the Black Knight representing Batman and the Rook representing Hush. And I think despite it all, the ominous tone set up in the mission is pretty cool, and I like how quick it is to complete too. If it was drawn out and dumb, it would be one thing, but I find myself completing this mission on every playthrough, so for that, it's 30. Number 29, Arkham Origins Black A Prisoners. This mission I liked a lot for two specific reasons. One, you get to see more of Batman and Gordon's relationship develop here as we see Gordon asking Batman for help. It's a nice dialogue exchange of them throughout the mission. And two, the conversations here from the Blackgate thugs are some of the most memorable and some of the most funny. Outside of that, just going around and taking down the Blackgate prisoners is pretty satisfactory to say the least. I liked slowly completing this side mission. But yes, the two reasons I mentioned make this number 29 for me. Number 28, Arkham Knight Creature of the Night, the Man-Bat side mission. One of the most memorable jump scares in all of fiction, honestly. Amazing start to the side mission. However, the mission is pretty disappointing in that all you do is touch Man-Bat 3 times to trigger some cutscene you have no control over. Going to his office was really cool and seeing all the aftermath of his transformation, and the ending of the mission showed you the harsh reality of some of these characters and how they don't get happy endings. I think for that, it's really memorable for me, but I wish there was more to the side mission. I still liked it though, which is why it's at number 28. Number 27, Arkham Origins Black Mask's Drug Stashes. This one's pretty cool. I like finding the drug stashes and taking them out with the combat sections. Going into the church to find the last one and finding Black Mask is also cool. Despite Black Mask being a loser in the Arkham series, I'm glad we got a closure to his story in this game with him. I think Black Mask fits really well into the aesthetic of Arkham Origins, and I don't know, I for some reason find this one more enjoyable than the other missions before it. I can't really say, it's just one of those things, you know? Like, I feel like this one should be lower, but for me it's number 27. I just like how Black Mask fits into Arkham Origins as a game with its color aesthetic, and it's a really cool mission, all things considered. Number 26, Arkham Origins Crime Scene Investigations. In Arkham Origins, there's a bunch of crime scenes you can go to and solve. They're all pretty fun. All of these missions had a good assortment of detective work and combat, and some of them really had interesting storylines, particularly the one where there's a death at Crime Alley that makes Batman have some flashbacks to say the least and crash out on this guy, almost killing him. These missions were plentiful, pretty fun, didn't overstay their welcome, had some interesting little storylines as well. I look fondly on them and I really liked them, and they were a bit different from the usual side missions. I liked them, which is why it's on number 26. Number 25, Arkham Knight's Heir to the Cowl. This side mission I honestly liked. It's one of the more story-based side missions, which I feel at this point in the list we're starting to get into. It was fun playing as Azrael through the simulations, but what holds this down to being higher is the disappointing story for Azrael. He was built up really well in Arkham City, only to be thrown away in this game. He still had somewhat of an interesting story here, which is left ambiguous if he didn't try and kill Batman, but Azrael should have been in the main story of this game, but he's here as a side mission. It's pretty cool for what it is, challenging to not get hit, something I need to get better at, apparently. But in the end, I wish there was more to Azrael in Arkham Knight. It's still a cool side mission though. Number 24, Arkham City, Azrael, Watcher in the Wings. I promise I didn't put these next to each other intentionally, but this mission is really cool too. The mystery of Azrael and who he is here and his secret message to Batman makes it extremely memorable. As a kid, it just made me so excited for the next game, and having to find him around the city was also really cool. There's not so much gameplay here as it is a mystery and world building, which I think this side mission did excellently, and that memorable feeling makes it number 24 for me. It's a really great mission. Number 23, Arkham Knight's Armored and Dangerous. Now for me, I enjoy the Batmobile in Arkham Knight, like I love its gameplay. So for me, Armored and Dangerous, where you just drive around chasing down militia vehicles, was fun. I liked it a lot. The gameplay loop makes this an enjoyable side mission for me, which is why it's so high up. Out of all the militia takedown missions in this game, this one was my least favorite, but it's still really fun though. Simple, yet effective. Number 22, Arkham Knight Own the Roads. Own the Roads was pretty cool too, just going around the roads of Gotham and taking down these outposts. It's a lot of just going around and taking out bad guys, but it's the pure enjoyment from doing so. There really isn't much else to say here, but since it's Arkham Knight where the gameplay in Arkham Knight is so good, to me, I put this at number 22. The thug conversations make it awesome as well, and the different ways of taking out bases is also very unique. Number 21, Arkham Knight Occupy Gotham. Very similar reasons to Own the Roads, except for this one. I like that's on different rooftops, okay? And really, what gives this the edge over Own the Roads is simply the thug conversations. There were lots of memorable ones here, like the one where there's a guy with a whole theory on who Batman is, or the guy that felt the horror of Crane's fear gas. Pretty cool stuff. But yeah, more amazing Arkham Knight gameplay as well, which is why it's at number 21. Number 20, Arkham Knight's campaign for disarmament. I have this high up because, like I said, I like the Batmobile section. And the side mission has the added ending of fighting the Deathstroke boss fight, which makes it a little bit higher than the other malicious side missions for me. It's pretty fun for me just taking out tanks and trying to see if you can take down the more difficult ones without getting hit. And for those reasons, it's at number 20 for me in this particular list. Despite Deathstroke being disrespected as a boss fight, I still kind of enjoy the tank boss fight. I can see people having this mission lower since they might not like the Batmobile as much. For me, I do, which is why it's at number 20. Number 19, Arkham Origins Shiva. I really like Arkham Origins Shiva's side mission. I think while I wish she was a main story boss fight, the variety in the side mission was cool. Saving the cop here, following the trail here, which then leads into a boss fight with her and the assassins. It all culminates pretty well. It's a shame we never see her again, but I think the variety in the side mission is what makes this compelling enough for me. I like it, it's pretty fun, which is why it's at number 19, it's great. Number 18, Arkham City's Deadshot Shot in the Dark. I really like the side mission on the mere fact the more detective side of Batman. I like the start of the guy dying in the investigation that follows. This is one of those side missions that is less gameplay focused and more focused on the other elements of Batman that aren't just fighting. The ending was cool where you got to see Deadshot's other targets and also save Jack Ryder at the end. And although this final encounter against him sucked, this side mission is more memorable to me than most. It had a good Deadshot storyline, all things considered, and for that, I have it at number 18. I like it. Number 17, Arkham Origins Anarchy Bombs. I like this mission a lot. If you aren't as good as the game as someone like me that spends their life on it, this mission can be pretty stressful. Getting to the bomb on time and then fighting the guys guarding it does give you some sense of urgency. And the Anarchy reveal and his whole story is pretty interesting, with him trying to fight against corruption with his own corruption. Anarchy was an interesting character, and I liked his mission and story here. It was unique in the sense of what I mentioned with the sense of urgency. It's a fun side mission. I liked Anarchy as a villain, and he does fit well as a side mission character, I think. Great one here. I like the side mission. Number 17. Number 16, Arkham Knight Gotham on Fire. This Firefly side mission from Arkham Knight, I actually really like. Chasing Firefly around, dodging his fire, and then jumping and wailing on him is simple yet really fun. I love how fast-paced this mission is, and it's kind of exhilarating, honestly. It's nothing difficult, but I think it works as a side mission. I don't know. It's a bit more unique in that sense, and it reminds me of the Armored and Dangerous side mission but dialed up a bit more. It's just one of those missions that you can't explain why you enjoy more, I just do, and that's why I have it at number 16. Number 15, Arkham Knight Line of Duty, the mission where you save the firefighters. I really like this mission. Saving all these firefighters, what I really like about it is the variety. Between regular brawls to predator sections to perfect environment setups to even using the Batmobile if you want, there's a lot of opportunity to use different takedowns here. I also like the unraveling story about how the fire chief basically tried to help his workers but in all the wrong ways. And the ending where you had to save the fire chief did bring a unique challenge with how many guys you had to take out in the predator section. And it's also funny how Batman throws a chief in with all the other actual evil supervillains. But the variety and gameplay in this mission made it really fun for me. Number 14, Arkham City Riddler Conundrums. The Arkham City Riddler side mission, I think all things considered, is pretty good. The thing about Riddler side missions is that it has a lot of variety when saving the hostages by him, and on top of that, collecting the riddles specifically in Arkham City, I found satisfying with the sound effect and how small and tight knit the map is, making it all the more satisfying to complete the mission. And taking down Riddler is nice too. Getting enough trophies to progress to the next part of the side mission is really satisfying. For all the flack the Riddler trophies get, finishing this mission is definitely the most satisfying, and that dopamine effect hits, dude, making it number 14 for me. Variety is nice here, strays away from the norm. I like it a lot. Number 13, Arkham Origins Deadshot. Arkham Origins Deadshot, people might think this is a little high, but something about the helicopter detective mission alongside the boss fight is pretty cool. I really enjoy Predator boss fights, and there's only a few of them in the entire series, and I think this is the best one. The boss fight honestly makes it this high for me. With how Deadshot can ricochet off stuff to shoot you, the boss fight here honestly makes a side mission for me. I look forward to it. It's what separates it from other sections of side missions, and the detective element here feels like the most cinematic to me of all the side missions. It's up there anyway. Number 13 for me is a side mission. Those two simple things makes it really enjoyable for me specifically. Number 12, Arkham City Zsasz Cold Call Killer. This side mission was very unique and very cool. Picking up phones around Gotham to track down Zsasz as he told you his life story was very memorable and fun to me. As far as uniqueness goes, you don't really get another side mission like this, right? And it helps that this was like the first superhero game of this quality that I played, so it makes it that much more memorable to me. And I really like the story of Zsasz here, hearing about how he is the way he is. And while Batman does do that to buy time, you still can't help but enjoy the story he sets out here. It's really fun and unique as a side mission. Pretty interesting story for Zsasz as well. Number 12, I like this one a lot. Number 11, Arkham City Identity Theft. I absolutely love the Identity Thief side mission. Do you know that ominous, empty sound feeling from Arkham City that's just there when you're free roaming, where you hear nothing but the wind and the sound of birds from time to time? This mission really invokes that kind of feeling for me, the most out of any side mission, honestly. The feeling of mystery and horror. Ominous, finding these dead bodies with the cut up faces and trying to track down the killer, only to lead to all the Hush's scary base of operations. And the cliffhanger back then was so awesome, really made you want to know what happens next. Even though what we got was pretty sad, still though, this mission had one of the best ominous feelings of any side missions. The lack of music, Barbara suggesting Batman himself committed the killings. Back then, I didn't know who Hush was, so I had no idea. It was really awesome, and I think it's a great side mission. I look fondly on it. Now for the top 10. Let's get right into it, dude. Number 10, Arkham Knight Wonderland Mad Hatter side mission in this game was really awesome. I think what makes this one of the most interesting side missions is the cinematic feel to it. Talking to Jarvis in the beginning into finding where the hostages are is pretty cool. For some reason, that little minigame when you do this is really satisfying, oddly enough. But the real fun was the climax of the mission where you're inside the book as you go through pages of the Arkham series. I thought this was really unique and really cool. Seeing the background and pop-ups were awesome. Like seeing Man-Bat in the background, I thought was like a nice touch. And it really puts Mad Hatter's abilities into perspective. It felt very cinematic and unique, and I love Mad Hatter's side missions in all these games, so I might be biased, but still. I think the end here with the book saves the side mission a lot. It's really fun. Since it was a part of the Arkham Knight DLC, it helps to make it stand out more too, I believe. I wish all the Arkham Knight side missions were kind of like this, man, but yeah, this is a great one. Number 10. Number 9, Arkham City Mad Hatter Tea Party. Mad Hatter in Arkham City. This side mission felt like the most side mission-y side mission in the entire series. Does that make sense to anybody? Does anyone know what I'm trying to say? Anyway, Mad Hatter's side mission in Arkham City had the most interesting start to any mission. Waking up on a dinner table in this eerie, ominous setting across from Mad Hatter, hearing the conversation between Jarvis and Batman to me was really compelling. One detail I love about it is how Batman tells Jarvis to go to hell. You can tell Batman hates Jarvis more than most other Batman villains. And with Jarvis putting the mask on Batman that's revealed to be this creepy bunny mask into this very unique fight, it's all really culminated well for how fast it was. It's a very quick side mission, but it's extremely memorable in how it was set up and portrayed. And for some reason, Mad Hatter to me has some of the best side missions. I enjoy the creepiness element here, and it was executed pretty well. Excellent side mission all around. I really liked it. If I had to guess of any critiques to the side mission, I would say that maybe it's too fast, but I don't know. I think I like how quick it goes and how snappy it is and how amazing it executed it all. Number 8. Arkham Knight Two-Faced Bandit. Two-Face's side mission Arkham Knight I found really fun. The whole twist of doing a Predator room but being able to do loud takedowns was awesome. The environment was also really cool too. Being able to drop chandeliers to escalators and things of that nature elevated this room to new levels. No pun intended. Switching from that to then clearing out the rest of that room in a regular Predator section made it fun too to not make things too repetitive. So the gameplay loop here is really fun. But what makes this one of my favorite side missions is that 1, Two-Face is my favorite villain, so it might be biased, and 2, the dialogue exchanges between Harvey and Batman are so good. Harvey explains to Batman how he feels betrayed by him and how he still thinks about the times they worked together to fight against corruption. The conversations you have with Two-Face when you take him to GCPD are the most memorable in the entire series to me. How Harvey understands that Batman is the true self and Bruce Wayne is the mask. Or if you beat this mission before the main story is completed, it's a whole new dialogue where Batman apologizes to Harvey. It's really great writing here, really great. And it's things like that that make a side mission to me the emotional element. I really like emotional elements in missions. I really like that that's accompanied with the fun and unique gameplay here as well. It makes it one of my favorite side missions in the series, no doubt. Number 7, Arkham Knight's Gunrunner, the Penguin side mission from Arkham Knight where you team up with Nightwing. This one was one of my favorites simply because the almighty Nightwing is in it. It was a very fun side mission where you do dual play takedowns with Nightwing as you track down and take down Penguin weapon caches. The gameplay of the side mission itself is really fun, but it's really Dick Grayson that elevates the side mission, especially since he's portrayed really well here in my opinion. Something I really like about side missions are, like I said, are the emotional elements, and this one delivers that to a T. Batman telling Nightwing at the end that this will be the last time they meet was a very emotional story as Batman thought he was gonna die, with Nightwing telling him he'll be okay. We didn't really get to see this side of Batman in these games, so seeing this here was awesome. And all the combat sections having hefty amounts of enemies was really cool too, especially with Arkham Knight's gameplay. Those two things together made this one of the most enjoyable side missions for me. I love this mission a lot. I look forward to it every time I replay the game. It's fantastic, man. Number 6, Arkham Origins Mad Hatter. Can you tell I like Mad Hatter side missions? My favorite of all of them is in Batman Arkham Origins. Mad Hatter had a very unique side mission in this game. The start of it with him sending his thugs over to Batman with the song was really cool, and the variety in the mission was cool too. Fighting the thugs into going through this weird Wonderland maze was awesome, as well as into taking down the Mad Hatter. But what really sells this side mission to me is showing the cruel, disgusting side of Batman's villains. His victim here, the woman in the Alice outfit, crying and telling Batman that nothing is going to be okay even after Batman saves her. It speaks a lot on what Jarvis did to her. It's gross, it's vile. It really hits home that Batman villains aren't just Saturday morning cartoon kind of people. They do unspeakable things, and this mission highlights that, more so than other missions in the series. Stuff like that makes the side mission stand out more to me, and I'm glad WB Montreal showcased this side of Jarvis and why Batman hates him more than other villains. It gave me chills after completing it back in the day. It still gives me chills to this day. It's a really well done side mission overall. It really did make me hate Mad Hatter, and at the same time, I think they did really well with the missions and his character in this series. Number 5. Top 5 now. Arkham Knight Shadow War. Shadow War was really badass, and why it's one of my favorites is how lengthy, cinematic, and almost main story like it feels. There's a lot to the side mission. It feels like that anyway. Finding the dead assassins, leading it to the hospital, going to the hospital, finding Raish, leaving and finding the Lazarus, encountering Nissa, going back to Raish and making a decision. It all felt very dynamic and cinematic, and this mission really brought up a good philosophical question. Would Batman destroy the machine, keeping Raish alive, or give him the Lazarus pit injection? It sparks a very interesting question in the community to this day, and I really like that. The side mission itself is really fun. It has a bit of mystery, puzzle solving, combat with new enemy types, more world building with how Nissa's here. New questions arise, like Talia's body is missing from the hospital. Did they take her to resurrect her? Like, what now, right? It all culminates into a big, hefty storyline that also world builds, and it's really fun as well. The mission just has everything in it, and its variety is just right there, and everything is used well. I love the side mission. To this day, I'm not sure what option at the end Batman would choose. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a definitive answer one day. Number 4, Arkham Knight's Riddler's Revenge. I love Arkham Knight's Riddler's Revenge for one reason. You can do 95% of it without collecting a single trophy. But what I really love about it is the variety. This side mission has the most interesting and most diverse variety of all the missions, easily in my opinion. You do raceways, Batmobile puzzles, Batman and Catwoman puzzles, dual play combat sections, and everything feels so different from one another that it's so cool. And I love that they made it so you need to only collect the trophies to capture Riddler, not save Catwoman. It's all very fun. I love using the Batmobile. I love the combat with Catwoman. I love the banter between Batman and Catwoman. And I really love the emotional element of the story with Batman and Catwoman's goodbye at the end. The side mission culminates really well. It feels worth it to complete. And also, Riddler low-key has like the only real combat boss fight in this game, which is pretty funny. This side mission is the most variety-filled, hefty but done well, different but still hits with that emotional punch. Because of all of that, it's one of my favorite side missions in the series for sure. It has everything in it. I love it. It's an amazing one. Number 3, Arkham Knight Beneath the Surface, the Killer Croc side mission. I love this mission, man. It's so good. What I really like about this mission, first and foremost, is the world building. Iron Heights airship, basically another supervillain prison based around Flash stories. That's really awesome. Seeing Gorilla Grodd's empty cage. Where did he go? Quorum, an evil DC company that made like Green Lantern villains. What are they up to? All of that I find really cool. I love Easter eggs and stuff like that, dude. But the actual side mission itself is awesome. The ominous and mysterious tone to it fits really well. Killer Croc looks amazing in Arkham Knight visuals, and the fact that you work with Nightwing here is nothing short of amazing, especially with the dual play sections. But something I really love about this side mission is how Croc is treated as a character here. Croc is one of my favorite villains of all time. Prior to the side mission, Killer Croc was never given a proper treatment in the series, I'd say, as far as showing his sad backstory in a way. This mission showed how he was tortured and viewed as a monster, really puts things into perspective of why he is the way he is. The way he picks people up down in the fight shows how he cares about them. Or when Batman tells the Warden that the only monster there is the Warden, showing that Batman views Croc as a person. It really gives Croc more of a spotlight that I love. It gives a lot more depth to his character. I love that. And my bias hits here because Croc, like I said, is one of my favorite villains. But the mission itself is very, very well done. I love everything about it. I think for all those reasons, this mission sits for me at number 3. It's such a fun one. It's one of my favorites, no doubt in my mind. I love it. I always replay it. Number 2, Arkham Knight's The Perfect Crime. Professor Pig's side mission, dude. When I think of straight up nightmare fuel in the Arkham games, Professor Pig is the first one that comes to mind. Pig's side missions are the epitome of horror and helplessness. This mission itself had a very well done mystery to it. As you're finding all these dead bodies, you really don't know who the villain could be or what his motives are, because Pig, first of all, wasn't a very well known villain at the time, making him such a good pick for the mission. So that whole part was well done, but finding Pig's base and seeing how he's turning people into Dolatrons, which are just mindless zombies going through eternal pain, seeing people trapped and helpless, and seeing Pig as a person beyond saving is all insane. What really hits for me though is after stopping him, you can speak to the survivors who are crying, mentally scarred for life, breaking down. It really gives you a realistic perspective. Real life people going through traumatic experiences and horrible, scary situations. This mission reminds me of stuff like that, you know? It just really puts in a perspective that, like, in some ways, things like that aren't too far off from what happens in real life. People getting abducted and mutilated. It's crazy, scary stuff. The emotional moments hit tough on this one. The mission itself is pretty fun, but it's more so Pig and his psychopathic tendencies that make this one of the most memorable missions to me. His audio tapes in the game make this mission even more compelling, about how Pig and his mother tortured and killed the mother of Pig's son. And that's just scratching the surface. It's disgusting stuff. Makes you really see the downright dirty side of Batman's villains, and the mission portrayed that excellently. It's very memorable, very well executed. Definitely one of, if not the darkest of the side missions. Number 2 for sure. I loved everything about it. And finally on number 1, you probably have guessed it, especially since it's the only one not mentioned at this point. Arkham Knight In From the Cold. This is easily, for me, the best side mission in the entire series. I love this mission a ton, dude. Where do I start? First off, variety. Variety, man. This mission had Predator sections, combat sections, a Batmobile like racetrack sequence, a Batmobile fight. The variety here is fun and amazing. However, what I really love about this mission is the story between Victor and Nora. This mission storytelling is phenomenal. Saving Nora and seeing this amazing cutscene where she wakes up in the conversation between Batman, Nora, and Mr. Freeze about how long it's been and Nora just wants to live the rest of her life out of the box. It's very sad and heart-wrenching. And the music in the background here is just, it makes it all the better for me. I love the music. It's the most emotional side mission in the entire series to me, and what I love about it is that it wraps up the story of Mr. Freeze. We saw Mr. Freeze in the beginning, we saw him in the middle, and we see him here at the end. Mr. Freeze is one of the very few characters, if not probably one of the only, where we really get to see that. Everything in this mission was well paced, had such a sad ending, was fun, music was great, everything felt so real, the stakes here were real. You see Batman's softer side where he tries to help his villains, you know? A side of him we really don't get to see all the time in this series. This mission felt like a movie. The main things were that this mission had everything from Predator sections, combat sections, Batmobile sections, and emotional storytelling that was done really well with the villain that deserved it. Nora telling Freeze to let her live was like, come on, man. Your story in the Arkham Rift was really well done, and I love how it ended. Because of all those things, this is easily my favorite side mission in the entire series, and actually it's a fact. It's the best side mission in the series. It's not an opinion, it's a fact. If you think otherwise, you're wrong. But with that, it ends my ranking of the side missions. Let me know what you think. If you think anything on my list is stupid, my list might be different because I like things like the Batmobile, but you know, just let me know. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, sub, all that, man. Check out my streams too. I like to stream, but I hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe and peace.